Good afternoon and welcome to a Love Wrestling interview. I'm Mike, and this is not Indeed, but I am Mike from Indeed, and we're here. We're here on Love Wrestling, and I've got with me someone that I'm very happy to talk to today because if anyone knows anything I do, I cover independent wrestling. I'm at a lot of independent shows, and I anytime I have anyone from America or outside of Ontario asking me like, who do I got to check out up there? Who's good up in Canada? One of the first names that always comes out of my mouth is my guest today. I'm joined by Gabriel Fuerza. How are you doing today?
I am excellent, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Hey, glad to have you. Glad to have you. Seen you. Saw you just recently at Northern Crown in Toronto. Had a dope match with Calvin Tankman for the DPW World Title. So how are you feeling after that one?
Um, I don't know if you saw, I posted a clip where my soul pretty much left my body, so feels like I'm still kind of like looking around for it. Hopefully, I can pin it down soon.
Yeah, between that elbow and the Tankman driver, it's he's got some power in there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Gave you the little rub on the intro though, but we're not really here to talk about you. We're actually here to talk about something much bigger than any or all of us, and that is Friends of Fuerza present Free Palestine. It's live pro wrestling with 100% of the proceeds going to Palestinian relief efforts. I know you've taken part in a ton of shows for good causes before, but kind of like what brought you to the decision to take action and do this one yourself?
Um, Honestly, more than anything, just impulse. Um, I've been I gotta be careful with what I say, but I've been a pretty firm Palestinian supporter since about grade 10.
Mhm.
Um, I got really lucky and I had a teacher who really kind of gave a shit about his job and went above and beyond and didn't just teach us what was in the curriculum, but also things we should know. One of those things being the Palestinian Israel conflict. Um, from there in university, I took a couple different courses to kind of, learn a little bit more because it's hard. I'm not Palestinian, I'm not Israeli. I can't really put myself in their shoes all that much, but I want to know as much as I can and be as informed as I can because these things do matter, even if they seem like they're worlds away.
Mhm.
So that I guess initially sparked the interest. It helps that my mom is very, very, hippie, protest this, protest that. That went a
Love
long
it.
way for me. Um, but really, it's always been in the back of my mind. And with the whole recent events that have been happening these past 9 months, um, I just felt like I wasn't doing enough. Uh, I have friends who are Palestinian, friends who are Arabic and who feel much closer to the conflict than I do. And I would try my best to share, things here and there on social media. But you always get that pushback of people who are like, hey, maybe you don't want to share that kind of stuff. Maybe you're going to alienate some people. And I don't know. I just have never really cared to please people.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of sort of my appeal. People seem to like that about me, which I guess is great. Um, but yeah, I just kind of got more and more into sharing that kind of stuff and more into being sort of loud and annoying about it. I put up a Palestinian flag on my truck that may or may not have gotten me fired from my real job. Don't even want to get into that. Don't really care, to be honest. But I was driving back home from picking up some dog food once, and I had the flag up on my truck, and just out of the side of my ear, I hear the cutest little voice say "Free Palestine," and
Ah,
I get a couple people who will give me honks, and I'll look over and they'll give me the little fist pump, whatever. But I don't know, something about the little girl. I just kind of look over and I see this whole family just like elated to see that somebody gives a shit.
mhm.
Um, and yeah, I just went home right then and there and started messaging some friends, hence friends of Fuerza, and didn't really expect it to get off the ground as quickly as it did. But like I said, I got some really, really good friends, and they're really, really good people. I think I've always been a pretty good judge of character, and I think this really proves it because they all jumped very quickly to do this for me, and not just for me, but for the people who are actually struggling and not the guys who are pretending to over here. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how it came about. Just a lifelong sort of passion for it, and then just one impulsive movement, and here we are.
That's amazing. Activism comes in many, many forms. So education is always, really like a critical first step into that. And then, figuring out how to go about your activism and, showing your support is, it's always what do I do? What's the best way to do this?
Mhm.
So I think tying it into, something you just naturally have an affinity for anyway, it's a great way to do that. Um, I did want to talk to you about the response to the show, but there are there's levels to the
For sure.
response to this show.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do this like in parts because I think there's a great degree of misunderstanding amongst people who seem to think that like opposing genocide equates to either anti-Semitism or pro-terrorism and or both, and it's simply not the case. It's just it's just opposing the suffering and and the
Yeah.
genocide of people who are just trying to live their lives. So taking kind of taking some of those those extreme, obviously, like there's always going to be people who just don't understand, and they just see this and will automatically think bad. But like if we subtract kind of those like preconceived, we're never going to win these people over opinions out, how's the reaction been?
I would say mostly positive.
Mhm.
Um, I gotta be honest, because this is so impulsive, it never even like I don't want to say it never occurred to me that I get the backlash. You get backlash for these things. I know that,
Yeah,
but I never really thought like, "Ooh, what are going to people are going to think?" Like, again, I just
yeah.
don't give a shit. I want to be as peaceful and political and like neutral as possible if I can be. Um, but yeah, some people just again have these really, really preconceived biases, and sometimes they don't even realize it, right? Like
Mhm,
the whole world gets indoctrinated in one way or another. Whether you live here, you live there, they tell you one thing, you get told a different thing here. So I get that.
mhm.
But overall, it's been really positive. In the wrestling community, especially, it's been really, really positive. I've had a lot of promoters reach out and offer their help, wrestlers, referees, backstage people, like all pretty much anybody you can think of. Um, they've reached out, and that's been great. Like you said, we have a little bit of backlash, but it's to be expected. And you're not going to win everybody over, and that's not really the goal of this show. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to keep saying I don't care what people think, but I don't. And my goal is to raise money first and foremost for the people who need it. It's not to tread lightly and tiptoe and try to win people's over. Like, I'm not here to educate people as much as
Mhm.
I'd like to, if you're open to it. Um, but if you already believe what you believe and there's nothing that's going to change that, well, sorry.
Yeah. In the meantime, this is here for the people who do want to support. And speaking of raising money for the people that need it, the organization receiving the proceeds of the show is Kinder Relief. Can you tell us about them?
Yeah, yeah, it's Gaza Kinder Relief. So what
Kinder
they,
Relief. Okay, sorry.
yeah, yeah. So what they specifically focus on is the children who got affected by the war, and it is exactly what we're really focusing on, because children don't have a choice. You know what I mean? Civilians don't have a choice, period. But children, especially, like they don't have any choice at all. You don't choose where you're born. You don't choose what faction you're born into, what religion. Um, you just show up, right? And to show up into a place full of so much anxiety and psychosis and just general animosity, and then to be put into a war zone, it's just not your choice. So that was what we really wanted to focus on, and this organization focuses on specifically helping them medically and, if possible, temporarily removing them from the situation. So I'm sure you've seen a couple videos here and there of children being greeted at airports in the United States and Canada, and
Yeah.
That's specifically what they focus on. They try to get those kids out of there while they need the medical attention. And in theory, and we hope that in the future, they can send them back to their families. Um, but right now, the best thing for them is to just get out while they can, um, lick their wounds, take their time, recover as much as they possibly can, and hopefully in time they can return to their family. Um, that's the major thing that they do, but they also provide clean water, fresh food, medical attention to not just children but everybody. They distribute all sorts of aid. Um, so we thought that it lined up pretty well with what we were looking to do. Again, you'll always get the people who are claiming that we're funding terrorism and we're trying to help Hamas, and uh, at the end of the day, truly, like, there is no way for me to know where this money is going without me being the one to physically go there and hand it to the people myself. So, yeah, maybe you have a point. Maybe we don't know where the money is going 110%. We don't, but we've done our due diligence and we've found a charity that is, well reputable and has proven results. Not they don't just tell you the results, but they show it to you. They have a really good Instagram with all sorts of videos and photos of what exactly is going on and what they're doing to help. Um, so we feel pretty good about it.
It's amazing.
Oh,
Um,
and I should say also, I didn't choose the charity.
oh
Uh,
no.
no, so I know my name is on the poster, but it really is Friends of Fuerza. I'm not
Mhm.
doing any of this by myself. The only thing I did was start. Um, we have a team of guys who are helping us with just about everything, but
Mhm.
specifically with the charity, we wanted somebody who was Palestinian. Aegis Abraham, who used to wrestle in the area a little bit more often. Uh, he unfortunately can't make it to the show, but he was more than willing to help us out with that, as
Incredible.
well as Brad Myers, the referee. He's married into a Palestinian family, so we got their help. Hadi from Ottawa. He's not
Yeah.
Palestinian, but he's Arabic and feels very close to the conflict. And just the four of us, we've been trying our best to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible. And with the charity, I made sure that I had all of their blessings. We made sure that everything was unanimous. Nobody, no veto, no nothing. It was everybody was for it, and yeah,
I love that. The communal like aspect of wrestling is always something cool to see in practice. Also, you definitely answered one of my questions for me because I was going to say, obviously the name is Friends of Fuerza and not just Gabriel Fuerza presents, so there had to be a reason behind that. That
yeah,
again, it's it's kind of like an all hands on deck situation, which is as someone who's connected to the local scene myself, it makes me feel really good as well about the people that I've, gotten close to over the last, year and change as well. So it makes me feel that much better about the scene around here and the people that are in it. I'm happy. This makes me, it makes me happy seeing stuff like this go
yeah.
down.
There's a lot of good people here.
Wrestling's always better when there's a bigger meaning behind it than just like the graps itself.
Hmm.
So stuff like this is always front of the line in terms of things that I want to go see, give my attention and support to. um so let's talk about the show itself now, that we've kind of covered the background and the origins of it. um There's currently only one announced match. We've got KPK versus Lethal Gaze versus Triple Dragon versus Steady Ballers, which is a disgustingly stacked match.
Hmm. Hmm.
Anyone from the area around here already knows this one's crazy. So it's a good it's a good um it's a good precedent of like, oh, this is going to be an amazing show. Obviously, I'm familiar with all these teams myself, but like, let the folks know, let the folks at home who are watching, maybe on the fence about going, thinking about coming out, let them know about these teams.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that you were so excited about this one because this is the match I was most excited for. Um, as people started to confirm, I had ideas kind of trickling here and there. I'm like, oh, maybe we could do that. Maybe we could do this. Um, and yeah, this one just kind of came to me. I was like, this is an excellent way not only to showcase um, my boys, KPK. They
Mhm.
train with me, They didn't start with me, but they train with me now, so they're my boys. Um, I thought it was an excellent way to showcase them and especially reward Ahmed because Ahmed is making all of the graphics for us and he's doing it 100% free. He's going
Wow,
above and beyond. He's done all the videos. He wasn't asked to do the videos, but he did the videos.
it's
Um,
amazing.
so secretly, it's kind of a little way to reward not only Ahmed but Abu too, but especially Ahmed because he has been just so much help. So KPK, up and coming team, both really really good. They have so much potential. Ahmed gives that Bruiser Brody vibe that everybody seems to love, and Abu just has that like cocky arrogance. You can't help but like him, but you just want to
It's
hit him,
so
you know?
smooth too.
Yeah, and just yeah, exactly. Like hyper talented, super athletic. I really do think that in the next couple of years they'll be pretty big names in Ontario.
Yeah,
Because they not only are they like hyper talented, but they're like committed. They're at every show helping out, always at
I
training. They
I
rarely miss
see them
training.
everywhere,
Yeah,
everywhere. Like any show I go to, if they're not on the card, they're probably working like ring crew or just
yeah,
doing something.
just really
They're
good kids.
so
Um,
dedicated.
so we got them, and then we got let's see, we got the Steady Ballers, another team that I was really excited about because they haven't teamed, I think, at least in like a year or two. And
In a minute.
last I heard, that was supposed to be their last match. So I secretly managed to wiggle them into this match for one more match.
Thank you.
And if you don't know who those are, it's Brent Banks and Tarek, two of just the absolute best in Ontario. Um, Tarek specifically, when people try to say, "Oh, Fuerza, you're the best unsigned wrestler in Ontario," I'm like, "You don't have eyes. Have you not seen Tarek?
Eric
Like,
exists.
Tarek looks like $1,000,000. He hits like $1,000,000. Everything he does is perfection. Like he is excellent. And secretly, the KPK boys really look up to him. So again, another way to really kind of reward them a little bit. Brent Banks, just how is he still here?
His nickname's Money, and it's like he is, yes.
Yeah,
Money.
yeah, yeah. I don't even have to introduce Brent Banks because everybody knows Brent Banks. Brent Banks is money. Um, And okay, so I'll just go into it after I explain everybody. So then you got Lethal Gaze, uh, Silesia and Nikita. Silesia, who's been tearing it up for years now, it feels like, and Nikita, who just kind of came back, but again is just right back where she left off. I think it's really interesting having a girl tag team because there just isn't that many. Unfortunately, there's not a huge amount of female talent in Ontario. There's a couple that are on the rise, some of which will also be on the show, but but nobody like Silesia and Nikita who were just like top dogs. And to
Yeah,
have two super like hyper talented girls in a tag team, just I think it works. Um, and then let's see who we got last team: Triple Dragon, Puff and Pretty Ricky. Um,
self-explanatory too.
yeah, very self-explanatory. Two of the best dudes you'll ever meet.
Yeah,
Just really, really good dudes. Really, really funny. Really, really creative. Really, really have a way of connecting with the audience in a way that most people do not. Um,
big
just
time.
recently, what was the match? I don't remember what the match was, but we were at C4, and Puff says, "Hey, I'm gonna do the Stone Cold," and I'm like, "What's that?" And he's like, "They're gonna throw me a diet
Dude,
soda."
I have the best video of that can of Coke getting thrown to him.
Uh-huh.
I was standing by the entrance at C4. So it came from like over behind my head, and you just see it come in the frame of my camera, like
Uh-huh.
over the top of the frame, and just perfectly drop down into his hand.
Yeah, yeah, and it just the most perfect catch, like the loudest pop I've ever heard. And
Yeah,
I've been in some pretty loud rings. Like I thought TDT couldn't get the fans to be any louder, but
puff.
Puff and Ricky, oh man, just insanely talented. But what I specifically like about this match is I don't think this match could happen anywhere else. You have a team that predominantly wrestles in Ottawa and Triple Dragon. You got KPK who are brand new. They're just kind of getting the spots that they can. They got Alpha One this Sunday, which is very nice. Um,
Yes.
Lethal Gaze predominantly teams at Smash,
Mhm.
not many other places. And Steady Ballers, like I said, who just don't really team
Dude,
anymore. What I would call a local legend team, right?
yeah.
So it's just these four teams who maybe if they had gotten lucky would have met in singles tags, but all four of them in one match. I truly, really don't think that match would
I
happen anywhere else.
This is probably you might be the only person who's even thought to put the four of them together anyway.
Maybe.
Like it just because like again like you study ballers like nobody around here even thinks that it's possible to book them because
Hmm.
it hasn't happened in so long.
Hmm.
I don't even think it's on anyone's radar to consider it.
Yeah, I hope people definitely got kind of like shocked, like, oh shit, like that's a
I
big
look,
match.
I popped when I saw study ballers. I was that one got me good. So I'm a bit of a poster watcher, though.
Hmm.
So I've noticed on this because there's a couple different posters out, and we'll
Yeah,
throw one of them out now. Again, look at amazing graphics.
yeah.
Great job,
Thank
Ahmed.
you, Ahmed.
Great job, Ahmed. But like on a couple of the posters now, I've also seen yourself, obviously,
Hmm.
Vaughn
Hmm.
Jr., Mark
Hmm.
Wheeler on the graphics.
Hmm.
Um, Now this shows this interview is not going to drop until Monday, July 15th.
Monday, July 15th. Okay.
So about five days from now.
Hmm.
Do you have any plans between now and Monday to have dropped another match? If so,
Most
can we
likely.
talk? Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
most
you know?
likely.
Yeah. Do you know what that might be? Can we talk about it since this isn't going to be out till Monday? So we're kind of like, it's weird. We're talking right now in the past, but we're really like
Yeah.
talking in the future about the present, but in the past.
Yeah, it's trippy.
So do you is there a match that would be out, I guess, by now that we can talk about?
Well, yeah,
All right,
most
cool.
likely. Yeah, I don't even mind if I give you spoilers, so it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Most likely by today, if not at least yesterday or the day before, um, we should have dropped Barry Wrestling Three Pistols title match. That would be the champion Van Landen versus Young Jay Lee, the greatest Three Pistols champion,
August reigning,
against
yep.
Zico, who formerly wrestled as Haram. He's from Detroit. He reached out personally and would offer to work the show for free, make the drive up by
Interesting.
himself.
Ah, I
So
like this.
yeah, that is probably going to be announced by then. But I'll give you a couple more. Maybe not the whole
Hmm.
match, but I'll whet your appetite. And if
Oh,
anybody's
okay.
on the fence about maybe going, maybe not, hopefully this will entice them a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned Junior Benito.
Mm.
He's on the poster. Junior Benito will be defending the C4 championship, most likely in our main event. I can't tell you against who quite yet, but I know you personally do know who this person is. Again, this is another match that I don't think would happen anywhere else. It is a local, so don't get too excited about being a name. Everybody on the show is more or less local. We have guys coming in from Ottawa, we have guys in Toronto, Hamilton, Detroit. Um, so, you know, local. But yeah, it'll be a C4 championship match, singles, Junior Benito versus unnamed.
Mm.
And let's see, who else did you mention? You mentioned Mark Wheeler. Mark Wheeler will most likely be in a six-man tag, or
Okay.
maybe a six person tag,
Oh,
maybe.
okay.
um, and let's see, who last person you mentioned. Von Vertigo, my good friend Von Vertigo, the friend of Fuerza. I don't know if anyone's picked up on that, by the way. It's FOF.
Oh, whoa! It is. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah. So Friends of Fuerza is FOF, Fight or Flight,
Fight or
Friends of
flight
Fuerza.
tie-in. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. He will be in a Smash Championship title match. So we've got a couple different title matches. Again, I have lots of friends,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of these friends are good people, and some of these friends are promoters, and some of these friends are more than
Mm-hmm.
willing to have their titles showcased on a show like this. Um, so yeah, that's about all the little spoilies I can give you. But matches will be out soon. We don't want to wait too long because we do want to sell as many tickets as we possibly can. So
Of
chances
course.
are pretty good that the whole card will be announced probably by the end of next week.
All right, that's fantastic. The I look, I was already on the like we're going to this show side of the fence because why wouldn't I be? But that's hearing you've got a Barry wrestling, a Smash wrestling, and a C4 wrestling, a C4 championship match all happening on the same show. I think that's really it speaks to the Ontario scene and like the, we might not see a lot of collaborative co-promoted shows between promotions, but like when it comes time to do something, charitable or
Mhm.
philanthropic, there's always certain promotions that really seem to like show up and lend their lend something to the show.
Mhm. For sure.
It's really good to see that. Um, Once again, the show itself, Friends of Fuerza, present Free Palestine. It's on Sunday, August 11th from the Don Kolov Arena in Mississauga. Tickets are $25. You can email friendsoffuerza@gmail.com for tickets. Gabriel, thank you so much for
Thank
hanging
you,
out,
Mike. Thank
for
you.
chatting
Seriously.
with me, for getting to talk about the show. I can't wait to be there. I'm gonna try to bring as many people with me for this one as possible. So I can't wait. But before we get out of here, is there anything else you want to promote, plug, let the people know where they can find you?
Um, yeah, pretty much. I'm on everything at Fuerza Lives, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Um, yeah, that's about it. I don't really feel the need to promote too much anything else. Just I'll keep pushing the show.
Mhm.
Um, if you can't make it, we are accepting donations as well, and we're likely trying to give those tickets away to local Palestinian students.
Fantastic.
No promises, unfortunately, because it is trickier than we expected to get into contact with these associations.
Mhm.
But regardless, the donations, whether 100 people show up or one person shows up, every single dollar that we make will be going to the Gaza Kinder Relief.
Incredible. Thank you again for joining me, Gabriel. And, be sure to follow us here on Love Wrestling. See you around.